Bio-nanogenomics, technical analysis, fundamental statistics, all through reviewing my current positions and the price starts. Starting off with the price action, we have this descending triangle here, but actually we have earnings tomorrow, so let's go to that first. We know, based on my calculations in yesterday's videos, that we have a higher chance of breaking to the upside based on a beating of the consensus estimate for the EPS for Bio-nano for quarter 4 2020, which is going to be -5 cents. That is the consensus estimate. We have a higher chance of breaking and beating that than missing that completely. Now, we can do both, but now, what are we looking for the charts for if earnings is all that matters? Well, we actually know how to play it both ways, because you can have a little buying power on the side like I am doing, and this is what I recommend you do. Have a little bit of buying power in case we miss. If we do miss, these are the levels that you're going to want to load up on. If we miss by a little bit, I don't know. No one knows exactly, the proportion of how much we will drop based on how much the miss is, right? But guys, if we dip a lot, if we dip hard, these are the levels to watch. Now, the earnings release date tomorrow is the 23rd, obviously tomorrow. This is the after hours today. This is the pre-market tomorrow. This is the open tomorrow. And this is the start of after hours tomorrow on the 23rd, Tuesday. This is what we're going to want to watch. This descending level right here of support. Now, it was resistance. We broke out, confirmed the breakdown. Then we confirmed the breakdown of this ascending level of support. And then we validated this other trend line that I was talking about originally, right? This level, we validated it, got the bounce. This is going to be an extremely strong level based on number one, we have 1,000 validations going as far back as the 10th, 12th in February of this year. So this has been an extremely validated level, obviously with 1,000 more validations that we're not going to go over on, but that's going to be your level to watch. So if we were to dip right at the start of after hours, this is where you're going to want to load up if it's not horrible. If we dip like 15%, 20% right away, then, we're not counting on that. Okay, so that's not realistic in my opinion. But if we dip if we dip to 857, 860, 857, 850s, that is your load up zone. In my opinion, that's exactly where this descending trend line is. That's also right where this, you may be wondering, we actually have a price target to the downside. That's right. Brandon is actually not as biased as you may think he is, right? We are in a bearish pattern here. This is a descending triangle. We have a horizontal support level here and a descending resistance equaling and making a descending triangle. The price target, if this is how I drew it up right there, okay, that is actually right in line with our price target, basically. So that is an extremely strong entry point. That's almost exactly right. That's almost exactly the same price target, right? This one's down at 850. The trend line's at 857, right? So if you want to wait a little bit more, do it then. Set your limit at 852 if you do that. And remember the time frame, okay? Don't do it. Don't be paying attention and looking at your notes for these numbers. If it's 2 days from now, or in the pre-market after tomorrow, or halfway in, right? This is just for the very start of tomorrow's after hours. So what am I personally doing? You can see I have plenty of shares in Bio-nano, right? Okay. Okay, there's my total position. I haven't sold any lately, right? So for this one, I may want to re-enter lower if it's going to be looking bad. If we do get something bad and it's like, okay, we're going to definitely sell off more than this based on this EPS, like, okay, I'll sell a little bit. Not all. I never sell all my BNGO because catalysts can come at any time, in my opinion. They have in the past, not in the recent past, but back in the early days when I was in right here, when I wish I just held my position, but instead I took profits like right here. But yeah, there used to be catalysts coming every day, and people would actually react to the stuff. But right now, yeah, I may re-enter a little lower. This is where I'll be re-entering. But I'm holding through earnings, and I recommend non-financial advice. I recommend you hold through earnings as well, at least some of your position, because I truly do think. I'm not just saying this stuff, right? You guys can see my position, and I'm gonna be hopefully. I don't know if I'm gonna be live streaming because the audio is a little iffy for me for the live stream right now still, because it's being really annoying. But I will be updating you at least in a video hopefully tomorrow, right when earnings drops. Hopefully as fast as I can. So that's really, guys. I mean, we can look at the RSI and everything. There's nothing. Let's go over real quickly just so we can get a whole macroscopic viewpoint, right, with everything, every indicator. But that's really what you need to know as far as earnings tomorrow. And then the RSI, we're still on the daily. We're neutral 48 MACD. Remember, I said whenever this MACD crosses over the signal line, that's the bullish confirmation that you want. That's what a lot of people are waiting for. If we got positive earnings per share, not only are we going to get that momentum, but we're going to get the MACD on the daily crossing over soon. The MACD is not super reactive, right? It would take a little bit, right, to daily. So, but once that actually crosses over, that's going to be some more upwards momentum for the stock. Now, looking at the EMA and the moving averages. Okay, exponential moving average and the moving averages. We're a bullish territory. Every golden cross you can want. 200-day exponential moving average below the 15 and 15, blah, 15 and 55, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you guys know how it is. Golden crosses everywhere. We're good to go there. Looking at the middle Bollinger Band, 922. Okay, we are getting some resistance. We're getting rejected. I know it's hard to see because it's really condensed, right? There's 1,000 lines here. Yeah, but that's we are seeing a little bit of resistance from that $9.22. That's where that middle Bollinger Band is trading at. Our current price action is at 905. That is acting as a little bit of resistance. Look for a breakout and a confirmation as this is a new support. On the daily, though, so it's on the daily, so it's not going to be as reactive as I said, but that's something to look for. Also, we do have decreased volatility. Earnings per share. Obviously, guys, remember, okay, screw the Bollinger Bands. Let's be honest. Earnings per share is the only thing that matters tomorrow, honestly, basically. And this, of course, the markets, our overlords. Of course, the markets matter. That is what we're looking at as far as the technicals. Let's look at some fundamentals. Now, I'm not going to go over the same stuff every day. I want to be a little more concise in this. And, if I'm going to look at all the indicators, I'm going to present to you what's most important to me. 25% short volume ratio. This was updated on the 19th of March. Today is the 22nd. So there were 4 million shares traded in a short way out of the 15 million shares that were traded in total. So that means out of this amount of shares, 25% of them were traded short. Now, this could mean they either bought back their shares or took up new short positions. Either way, this is not low by any means. So what this means is that eventually they are going to cover. We could be getting a bit of it. I'm not calling a short squeeze. Don't say I'm calling a short squeeze. If we do beat earnings per share, we will get a bit of a short squeeze, though, 100%, because a bit, that doesn't mean we're going 100%, right? That just means a lot of shorts are going to cover as soon as they can, forcing other shorts to cover as soon as they can, and every short is going to cover because earnings per share is going to beat. Buyers are coming in. People are looking at the company and thinking, hey, this company is legit, actually making some new moves as far as more revenue, more profitability, more earnings per share in the positive direction, right? So a lot of these are going to be actual new sort. Let's just assume half of these are short positions or 1/4. They are going to cover tomorrow if we beat earnings, which is likely. So if we beat earnings, extremely bullish. And even if we don't beat earnings, if we go negative, guess what? These guys, they're going to enjoy their little 10, 15, 20% gains, 5%, whatever it is. And then they're going to cover, and they're probably going to move on or at least give the bulls a chance. And it's going to be likely for the bulls to push back in a strong way. This is the earnings preview that came out today for Bionano Genomics. The only interesting thing here that I found was this right here. Okay, so if we were to match the consensus estimate tomorrow, earnings for Bionano would be at 78.26%, and the revenue would be up 25% from the same quarter last year. Now, why is this important? This is important because guess what? Bionano, people want to see an increase of earnings per share, increase of revenue. And when you have a company like Bionano that has done pretty much nothing except run and came from nothing literally a couple months ago, a lot of people are on the sidelines waiting to see some actual legit concrete numbers. They want to see contracts. They want to see agreements. They want to see sales. They want to see profit margins, profitability. Bionano doesn't have a lot of that. Most of Bionano's stock price being where it's at is because of the future innovation and future total addressable market and their product ingenuity and disruptiveness, really. So if we actually got a positive earnings per share, I mean, I think it's going to be more substantial than a lot of other people do, but I can be wrong, of course. I'll link this as well. You know what? I'll link freaking all of this. Okay, I'll link both of these. I'll link this. BNGO due diligence. Now, there's a few interesting things here. Number one, we have this right here. So I'll link this, and you can see this if you want. This is basically just backstory on all of the main leadership teams. Now, basically, the big takeaway here is that they all have a lot of experience. Look, 20 years of experience, 20-year history, several executive roles in the past, private public companies, right? Previously, she was the head of cytogenetics, right? All these credentials, a ton of stuff. So basically, a lot of leadership teams have great credentials, but Bionano does as well. So that's interesting, and you can go see the exact thing if you want. Also, this right here. Now, I want to show you something here. This is actually pretty cool. So if we actually click on this, okay, let's go ahead and zoom in here so you can actually see a little better. Okay, there we go. All right, so put call volume ratio. Now, what I want you to you don't have to worry about this. Now, this is pretty good, but you can just look at this if you don't want to worry about the percentage and the ratio, okay? Call volume versus put volume. Calls mean it's a bet that someone thinks the stock is going to go up. Puts mean a bet that someone thinks the stock is going to go down. So these are the bulls, these are the bears. We are literally doubling the bears in the 319. Now that's obviously that's already happened, right? Now, as far as the next one though, we are more than doubling. And yeah, look at the date till expiration. Okay, 0. Okay, there you go. But guys, the theme here and the important pattern here that's actually very telling. As we go farther in time, the put call volume ratio goes down, and you want it to go down. That means that there's more bulls, right? This is more than double. This is not even double, right? So you see how the volume the volume ratio works. Okay, as we get, and then look at this one. Look at these two. Look at the last three. Look, there's no chance. Everyone who is long term, no bears are doubting the long term outlook of Bionano. That's what I'm trying to say. Bulls know that long term we're good. Bears know that long term we're good. So that's the consensus. Everyone is agreeing. Everyone concurs. Essentially, except 11 people that think it's going to go down. Oh my gosh, that could just be a hedge against their short share position. But either way, it's very risky to be a bear on this company with 672 days till the date of expiration for their option contract. Now, next up, earnings. I'll put a card in right now. So top right, you can click on this exact, if you want to see the calculations and everything and all the sites that I use and the links and everything. This took like 5 hours of work, 3, 4, 5 hours of work. All right. These are everything. Now, I just want to say, this is the worst one. Okay. This would be missing the earnings per share by a lot. Percent of chance happening, in my opinion, 2%. If you want to see exactly how I got these calculations and everything, go watch the video. But this is evidence. This is my evidence that I have created and done the work on and done the digging on, and the conclusion and the synthesis that I am forming from this, and that everyone who watches that video so far that has formed to my knowledge based on the comments. Everyone thinks that there's a higher chance, and at least I do. The synthesis is that there's a higher chance, as I said before at the start, higher chance to beat earnings than miss, in my opinion. Now, of course, we don't know everything. All we know is the presentation and the revenue preliminary estimate. We know that from CEO, and we put together several different averages and aggregate estimates for the total expenses, and we do the calculation, and this is what we get. And then I have my percent chance of happening. This is the highest percent chance of happening, 50%. We actually get an earnings per share of negative 2 cents. That's what I think is the most likely option. And it doesn't mean exactly on the dot. I mean, technically it does. That's what I think is the most likely compared to the other options. But if we get something like in a couple cent range, like even -4, -5 cents, or 0, or 1.25 cents, 1.23 cents, right? That's all close enough for me to say, okay, I was basically right on this. Not exactly, of course, but the moral of the story is we have a higher chance of beating earnings than missing, in my opinion. Twitter, Bionano's Twitter, here we go. Guess what we have? Another catalyst. I'm telling you guys, one of these days, people are going to start realizing that this company, not many companies do this many presentations. They don't do the catalyst. They're not this confident. They're not as confident as Bionano is in their product. April 13th to 16th, we have a virtual booth, posted presentations, Bionano data, and a product feeder available for on-demand viewing on April 14th starting. So this is great news. This is great news. Like, this is going to be priced in. And of course, this wasn't priced in. Like, we were down. What were we down? We're down on the day right now in the after hours, right? So no one prices this stuff in. Long-term bulls, we're going to be rewarded for this eventually. Now, this is the average monthly stock market returns from 1980 to 2018. We're in the end of March right now, or at least 2/3 of March, 22nd of March right now. Next 4 months are all green. If we were in July right now, into July, I would be more bearish short term, but short term is in next couple months, really medium term, if you're thinking as a trader. We are bullish on the average. I'm bullish on the short term markets, partly because of this. So this is what you want to see. This is why I only have, $1,000 in overnight buying power, partly. Economic indicators today. Okay, that's next week. All right, let's go to this. Let's go to today. Okay, so today's actual, we missed. Okay, now this doesn't, no, this, who knows how much of an effect this had. Okay, I don't really care about this, okay, that much. All right, now, but the big thing here, we don't have a Powell conference this week. That means it's bullish for the markets, because last week, we had Powell, and that was a big fear. And obviously Powell did good last week, but a couple weeks before that, he crashed the markets essentially. So this is good. It's a good thing for the markets, because the markets like stability, that we don't have Powell and don't have a ton of crazy stuff. We have some stuff, but okay, current positions. All right. So for these, I did not make any trades today, except I added on the dip for Mara, but it kept dipping a little bit. I didn't add it perfect. Let's go to the 10-minute chart. All right, I added a 36. I added a 36.39. Yeah, I caught the first dip basically perfectly, and then yeah, this happened. Bitcoin just kept falling, and it's still falling right now. It's insane. Bitcoin is going to be bouncing soon. It's a great load up zone in my opinion. Yeah, I had to add a little bit on Mara. You don't get a chance to very often. Um, so and I also added that 41.51, and these were only like 10 shares. It's only like a couple $100 worth, which is not much for an account this size, right? It's like, I don't know, 400, $300 worth maybe. But yeah, I definitely missed on the dip there on the first ad. But yeah, I was adding on this, and that's my only moves today. For BNGO, April 7th price starts $10. We're close to that. We will hit that, I think. Into your bear case 50, into your bull case 150, 200. This is my opinion. All right, bear case $50 in a year. That's my opinion. It could take 5 years. It could take a couple months. Could be tomorrow. Could be tomorrow that we hit $50. Okay, it would take a lot. It would take a lot to hit $50 tomorrow. But yeah, that's our current positions. Relevant information in regards to the title is finished now. Feel free to click off a few more important things to do. This is the part why we do stuff most people do in the first 5 seconds. Patreon link below. Check the channel banner on a desktop if you have one to see all the links for everything. It's really sweet. I just did that. BrandonBallCI.com. That's where you want to send your serious suggestions or questions. Webull link. Check that Webull link if you want free money. Success is never going to change our business model. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. Elon Musk. Your quote for the day. You're welcome. This is not financial advice, guys. Thank you all so much. See you on the next one.